What up? What up? What up? Welcome back, everybody, to this episode of the Nonsensical Knowledge Podcast. It's your boys, me and Irv. What's good, baby?
What's shaking? What's up, everybody? Don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow us, like us on all major social media platforms.
Thanks a lot. That would be dope. What's good, man? It's we're coming off the episode with Kayla. Shout out to Kayla for coming on the last episode. Anybody that taps in, make sure you shoot over there. Check out that super fun and interesting episode that we just did with Mazzy's Garden and Kayla May O'Connell. That was super cool, and we look forward to having more and more guests to come on and give us their perspectives and their stuff, and it's gonna be weird shit. We like the weird, so it's gonna be cool. What's good, Irv?
Yeah, that was a good time for sure. Not much, man. Everything. We got a lot of shit happening every day out here.
I know it's wild, man. You know, it was kind of weird for me because when the LA fires started, right? That started did that start after the New Year or before?
Yeah, right after the New Year.
So now, remember what was it? The Australia fires in 2020.
Yes, sir.
And it set shit off, bro. It's been bananas ever since.
No, man, there's more and more shit's coming out about the LA fires. Watched the Jeffrey Schellenberger Tucker Carlson interview this morning about that, and he's just like, wait a minute, the media is lying to people about this couldn't have been prevented. And he just was dropping bombs. I just was like, holy shit, this is wild. This is wild that they're lying about not being able to make it less worse.
Yeah. Well, again, we got into it kind of the episode prior to Mazzy's Garden, but why can't there still has been no attempt to cloud seed or, anything like that to bring rain. And Newsom in general has been really dodgy in a sense. Like that dude, sometimes I honestly wonder how these cats get elected. Like what appealed to people that were like, yo, that's our guy. And then he's like, oh, wait, the federal government, Trump, this, that, the other thing, like climate change. It's like, no, dude, your fucking policies suck.
Suck ass.
So, but it is interesting seeing with the LA wildfires because, like we said, we've been kicking it around on X and seeing things like the Project Bluebeam thing again as well, and we haven't been able to verify them yet. We just haven't had the time, but we're starting to see shit going around that like this is kind of like Laena again, and there's certain shit that's just not getting cooked.
That's with the blue roofs and everything.
Yep.
Yeah, I saw a couple images of, structures, but with AI and all that shit, like I'd really have to dig in and, make sure. Like I saw it, like could be possible, but got to do a little more research and dig into it, because that would be super, super weird.
Well, right. Well, we also got into the smart city stuff, and with what is it, LA 2028 or something, like Smart City 2028.
Yeah.
It kind of seems to me, at least, that this was laying the groundwork for, and then couple that with insurance companies not renewing, shit like that, kind of really marginalizing people and not being able to bounce back or rebuild. People are going to have to leave. And just like Laena, all of the government's going to say, wait, no, we're just going to take this property and do what we will with it.
So, I mean, did you start seeing the blue roof today? When did you start seeing a little rumblings about it?
Check our bookmarks, because I might have bookmarked it, but I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. I think I started seeing it today. And again, it's tough because X is sometimes all over the place with shit like that. Unfortunately, it is the app of the truth, but it's also one of the biggest traps to get caught in some fake shit. You know what I mean? Some AI or something like that. What was it? Rogan got caught up with the fucking fake Dick Cheney shit.
Did he? I didn't see that.
Yeah, it was the Theo Von episode, and it was funny because he's like, oh, rest in peace to Dick Cheney, and then fucking young Jamie's like, dude, that's fake.
Bro, I could have swore Dick Cheney died years ago, and then they were like, I was pretty sure he died, man. Then when the Liz Cheney shit was going on, they was like, oh, her father's whatever. I'm like, damn, I thought he died.
It's gonna be weird. Yeah, it could be another classic case of the Mandela effect, man. It's hard to really pinpoint a year, but it almost felt like it kind of lined up with the fucking Mayan calendar. Like 2012-ish was when things started really getting off the fucking rails. Like shit started like kind of diverting off the railroad track. And it's kind of strange because, shit, now I just lost my train of thought, but it's wild because now ever since then, it really has been just straight fucking bananas.
From that time period, maybe it wasn't like the world's going to end. Maybe it was like, we're going to shift universes or some shit. We're going to switch timelines.
Well, so there was a kid, and you might be able to find the video on YouTube, but his name was Max Laughlin. And it's kind of odd because he's not around. Like he's hard to find these days, but he was like a 12-year-old MIT grad, fucking like super physicist type shit. And homeboy, we might have did this years ago on the podcast, but
I believe so. I remember right now.
Yeah, but back then it was just like we were just talking about homeboy. But he essentially explained how the Mandela effect works, right? So essentially there was like, and this is kind of a spur of the moment topic, but the Mandela effect, essentially for anybody watching or listening, is the idea that Nelson Mandela, millions and millions of people believed that he had passed away in the 80s. And it wasn't until, I think, and I could be wrong, but I want to say either late 90s, early 2000s, that homeboy passed away. But when he did, everybody was like, wait, what? I remember seeing his funeral. I remember watching the procession, the big deal about it, like, and the whole time homeboy was still alive. So it's a phenomenon where a certain group of people remember something one way, the Bernstein Bears, now they're the Berenstain Bears.
Yeah, there's no way.
Right. So there's a lot of different examples of the Mandela effect. Super interesting topic for anybody listening. But the Dick Cheney thing could be another example of that. Like, again, we have Willow. If Willow just kicked the doors off of another dimension, who's to say that we didn't kind of slide over a little bit?
Or CERN, bro. Even CERN too.
Oh, what have they been up to? Because let me tell you, man, like they've been kicking the doors off of physics for years now.
see what CERN's up to.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy because they've been smashing. What is it? They've been trying to. I think they found it by now, but the God particle.
Yeah.
And they take the atoms and fucking speed them up to the speed of light and faster, and then just smash them into each other.
Yeah, I was just reading about that when they smash the particles. There's a ghost in the machine.
There's a what?
There's a ghost in the machine. Like there's something in the machine. They don't know what it is. Like something's making. Yeah, there. I'm like, wait, what? I'm like, is Lord Shiva back?
Well, something's got to be happening in there because, again, what I don't understand about how it works is like if you're creating new galaxies or new, like, it reminds me of Men in Black, right? When the cat had the universe on his fucking, like, like the marble.
Yeah.
And it's like, how do you contain something like that? You know, like, does this like 22-mile long fucking particle accelerator, dude, fucking contain a brand new black hole or a universe or a new dimension, anything like that?
It's this universe is magical, man. Like a big part about all of this shit, like all the shit we discover and we research, is that it's also taking limits off of my mind of what could be possible. You know what I mean? Whereas I was super skeptical of mostly everything, really. Now I'm like, anything. The more and more we discover, the more and more like this shit is unreal out here. Like there's nobody that can definitively say no, that isn't possible because we don't know.
We have no
we
idea.
don't know shit. We have no idea. Like, oh, there's no life out there. Oh, there's no multiverse. Oh, there's, you know what I mean? Like, who's the expert? Like, who knows it all?
Well, right. Even in some of our brightest minds on the planet who pondered these things, Einstein, Tesla, even Werner von Braun, you know, like we're like, they had help, bro. They said that something had tapped in with them and was like, yo, look, no, this is what it is. But that's, to me, is like, that's kind of the biggest question of all time is like, who's the defining factor? You know, who's to say, you know, like it's funny, like mythical animals. I've always said this about like the Chinese Zodiac, right? The Chinese Zodiac has a shit ton of regular, normal animals. And then you get to the year of the dragon. Why would that be so significant in their calendar or in their Zodiac if they didn't put eyes on that thing? So maybe there's a dimension that they had saw these things, you know. It's I don't know, man. I think we're busting down some new doors in the world, and I don't know if we're gonna be able to handle that shit.
What mentally, like, what do you think that should unravel society in a sense, or just in general individuals?
Well, ignorance is bliss, first and foremost. So a lot of people are reserved to feel like, you know what, if I just keep going about my life, this shit really don't even affect me. But I think when things start to get weird and like say an interdimensional portal opens up in the middle of fucking New York City, what do you think's going to happen? Motherfuckers are going to go bananas. I think it unravels everything because, again, you take once something like that happens, you already know that the government can't help you. You already know that your fucking little measly guns and tanks and drones and fucking this portal just opened, bro. You know what I mean? Like there's I don't know what's coming out of it or what's going into it, but I think when you unravel the faith of religion and then you unravel the societal structure, it's a wrap, bro. It's Mad Max.
Yeah. I mean, people be a little desensitized, even still. Just on some, we've kind of been conditioned and shit, but I get it. You coming out of that damn portal, or a mothership pulls up, on some Independence Day shit. Like it would be wild. It
It
would
would
be
be
wild.
again, you're kind of right in the sense of the desensitization, but I still feel like when the real shit hits the fan, people aren't going to know how to react, man. Like it's like I don't know how I would react like seeing the mothership. Like what I do know is I got to go get to my kids. You know what I mean? Like it's just like nobody knows what's really going to happen with that. So is it some like Independence Day shit, or is this like a benevolent entity that's like, oh, all right, we're here to level you up?
That is
Or
great
do we
question.
get caught? Do we get caught in the middle of like some beef between two warring factions? You know, and that's a very real possibility as well.
It definitely is, and I mean, even for, I think, especially Christianity and a lot of religions too. I mean, that's what's written. You know what I mean?
It
We're
really
gonna
is.
be in between a battle for good and evil. Like the sky's gonna crack open one day. You know what I mean? Angels, demons, the final battle. Like all of the, which is crazy, man. It's crazy. It's like
The
the
foresight
hell.
on it is incredible.
It's really crazy because even with the UFO, UAP, non-human intelligence, it's still like, for me, as far as my faith and my belief, it makes it realer in a sense. It's like, okay, they could be aliens. They could be angels, demons. You know what I mean? Like, what
Right.
are they? Now my question is, what are they? Like, what
Well, I think
exactly?
right. Well, I think the interpretation changes slightly, maybe a little. You know what I mean? Because you're right in the sense like Revelation, all that shit, like is eerily similar to what's happening, you know. But I think it will strengthen some faiths, but then others, it's like you
Others
got that others might fold, you know what I mean?
Listen, they're talking about like Lou Elizondo, Tom DeLonge, talk about Greek gods, bro.
Yeah.
Like on some real shit, like Greek gods battling over mankind. I really think if it is a religious component, it's the same entities in all of the stories, just made for wherever that region was. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
It's not like all of these. It's like, okay, um you call them Muhammad here or whatever, or Hindus. You know what I mean? Like you, but
Yeah.
it's all the
Buddha.
same entities. They don't give a shit what you call them. Like,
Yeah.
if you got power like that, call me asshole, bro. Like I'm
Right.
still shit. You know what I mean? Like whatever's gonna make you believe. But I don't know why they need us on the belief front. Could be a control thing. We need to control them and make them, you know, make them follow rules in society. But I mean, also that's the Anunnaki point too. So it's like it's super confusing, bro, because it's just mad entities.
Well, what's interesting about that when you say it like that is I'm gonna pull up this video real fast of I don't know if you ever saw Billy Carson talking about what's called the worship gene.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And it's kind of crazy because like you said, in a sense, it's like, all right, we don't care what you call us, you know what I mean? Just we're the shit. So Billy Carson makes like a theory that we have what's called the worship gene in our DNA, and they put it there on purpose so that way we would worship like them all the time. So when we're building these pyramids, we're doing this, we're doing that. It's for the gods. We're doing it in like we want the favor of the gods. Like that's what we strive for. And but I'll play this video real quick. It says it's 6:22, but we'll see what happens here. Just because
there was a study done about maybe I think it was now 9 years ago in a laboratory where biologists were accessing the human genome, and they discovered a gene that we have. It's called the worship gene. The interesting thing about this worship gene, two things actually. One thing is they discovered that it was inserted into the human genome about 200,000 years ago. Now, why is that significant? Well, that's significant because where's this book at?
This dude's
according to the ancient Sumerian tablets, right? According to the Sumerian tablets, about 200,000 years ago is when mankind was genetically modified and forced to do the labor of the gods. That's why it's ironic. And the biologists and the scientists said it's 200,000 years ago, but we can't figure out how, because in order for this mutation to occur, it would take millions and millions of years of evolution. It looks like this was purposefully done. Well, yeah, it was purposefully done. They then turn the gene off. They learn how to turn the gene on and turn the gene off. When they turn the gene off, the person is no longer want to worship any outside source. They focus on self. When they turn the gene on, the person seeks for exterior gratification, exterior deity, exterior help. This is a gene, in my opinion, that was inserted at the time that telomere chromosome number 2 was cut out and fused together, and the telomere caps were put on. That's in the Tower of Babel incident. At the same time, I believe that they also inserted the worship gene. And what better slave to have is a slave that doesn't know it's a slave. So when you go to Egypt, you find that the people that worked on these pyramids, because the pyramids were labored on by actual people. Now, the architectural guide and the floor plan came from higher above, came from Thoth, the Atlantean priest king, for example, at the Great Pyramid. He was the master architect of that structure. The people did the work under his tutelage and his training and using his technology. However, what you find when you go there is they weren't slaves. There were no slaves building any pyramids in Egypt, not one. That information that talks about people being slaves in Egypt inside this book is actually false. When you go to Egypt directly, like I've been a few times, you find out that not only were they working out of their own, want and need to appease the gods, but they were also getting paid, and they even had health care. Yeah, health care. That was years ago. They had health care. And when you go to Egypt with me, you're going to go to these locations. You're going to see the temples and the buildings and the structures where the workers would check in to go to work. They worked out of only one thing, to please the gods. They were paid very little. They were taken care of if they became injured. But they didn't realize that they were slaves. When they had the days when you would have to give your atonement, and you would have to go make your sacrifice and bring in your, cut up your, slice the throat of your calf and bring in your first harvest, right? All those things. You're going to find out when you come to Egypt with me what that was for. That was for these people to get food and eat. They have the temples there, which we're going to visit the temples. And in these temples, they have these storehouses where when all these offerings would come, those offerings, because these people were not going to go out and hunt. They were not going to farm. They weren't going to go grow any crops. No, you bring me the food and the crops, and then I'm going to pretend to be your God, and I'm going to say, yeah, I bless you, and you go about your business. All right? You're going to find this out when you go to Egypt with me. And so they would store all this food in these storehouses that they had, these locked containers that they would have in the back in some of these temples. And it was purely for the gods to eat. Now, when I say gods, I do mean lowercase g. These are the Anunnaki people. It was just for them to have food. And they weren't going to go kill no cows. They weren't going to grow no cattle and all this kind of stuff. You just got pimped. And we're still getting pimped today the same exact way. You got the worship gene. You want to worship something on the outside. Everybody's focusing on the outside. Nobody's focusing on the inside. That's where the big problem arises. When you're looking external for external salvation, I guarantee you will never find it. You will think you found it. You will convince yourself that you found external salvation, but in true reality, you only tricked yourself. The only way to receive a salvation is to go within. And you don't need any exterior source to forgive you and all this kind of stuff. You can forgive yourself. Matter of fact, until you forgive yourself, you're never going to be forgiven. Until you forgive I don't care if you hurt somebody, you did something to somebody, and then you apologize to them, and they say, "I forgive you." You're still not forgiven. Your conscience is still not fully satisfied until you actually look at your shadow face to face and say, "Man, I screwed this up bad. You know what? I apologize to them. I try to make everything right. And now all I can do is move forward. And you know what? I forgive myself. I have to learn from it. What can I learn from this? How can I become a better person from this experience? What can I glean from this mistake?"
So, yeah, but this is Billy Carson, and that's the worship gene. So he does such an excellent job of explaining this shit. Super smart dude. Like, he catches a lot of shit from a lot of people, but super credible, you know. But again, this worship gene is why people, I don't want to say it's the entire reason for like religion or anything like that. You know, faith is faith, whatever. But at the same time, with this gene, like he's saying, is like you just never knew that you were a slave to begin with. And it's really like waking up out of the matrix, right? So like everybody has this moment where it's like, yo, this shit ain't right. Something ain't right. And you kind of wake up and you say, wait, the masters are beating us down. We're, you know, look at it now. Same thing. Go to work. Make that money. Be that busy little bee. You know. And this time you're just you're worshiping idols, you're worshiping celebrities, you're worshiping fucking politicians, you're worshiping hip hop stars, country stars, fucking, you know what I mean?
You name it.
You name it, and you're worshiping it. But again, like he said, the real work is within. So you gotta, like, these are all distractions out here. You know what I mean? And I would argue that religion kind of brings you within yourself as well, as opposed to all of this other external shit.
Yeah, it really does. That's what like on my journey, I just stripped everything I learned and was taught, and I just, you know, talked to the all powerful, the universe, to God. Like, I know what I was taught, but it just don't seem right. You know what I mean? I think there's something missing. Like, help me find you directly. You know what I mean? Like, help me find the source without what I was told. You know what I mean? And a lot of that just was through nature, man. I just realized that everything in the universe is connected. So we've been here, you know what I mean? We've been here forever, just not in this form. You know what I mean? We were here at the very beginning of the universe when the first stars exploded, like we were here. So like we're ancient. What we're made of is ancient. So we've been here. So I'm like
Stardust, bro.
Yeah, like the internal damnation and like that shit scared me half of my damn life, bro. Like I'm gonna go to hell. I'm gonna burn. It's gonna be the worst place in the world. And I'm like, yeah, if God put us here, bro, I mean, that's some crazy shit. Like, I'm gonna torture you for eternity. Like that shit just didn't sit right with me. It was a weird way to live.
Yeah, it really is. Like, I guess for me, and in my own personal belief, I guess it was like the authority behind it, you know. So like to me, like just that, like the all loving God and the understanding, you know, entity that it's supposed to be, whatever, you know what I mean, is like very, very demanding in a sense, you know. But I feel like that's also the message being skewed by men.
Yes.
So there was an original message at some point that was a really, really good one. And maybe the characters changed, maybe the stories changed, you know, because men inserted them for purposes of control, for purposes of, you know, doing all the wrong fucking things as opposed to what it was supposed to be, you know. Because there's fucking scientific evidence that a dude named Jesus was on a journey in, I want to say India. I want to say something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they had him down as Issa. And, but I also feel like homeboy left for a certain period of time. And in that, what was it, 20 years, 13 to 33? Time goes on without you. Back in those days, maybe they didn't know you were still alive. That's a long journey. It's a super 20-year journey. You come back, you don't exactly fit the story anymore. You know, because it's changed and evolved without you.
And that story's been told, a similar story. I mean, it was thousands of years before, too. Different characters, like you said. Same similar process, which I was thinking, okay, like if that's the character doesn't matter, it's the story, the points of the story that we need to get. You know what I mean? But if you throw in, you know, having creators too, that's a nice thing to plant on a species that you're trying to control too. Not only human control, but extraterrestrial control as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely, for sure. At some level, it's control, you know. And if we are just a giant kind of experiment in a sense, they're gonna let it go. They're gonna say, okay, let's see how this evolves. Let's see how this plays out. It wasn't until the nukes started dropping that this UAP UFO shit really took a turn, you know. So they're maybe like, yo, you guys ain't gonna fuck this up for us.
Yeah, this is our. I know, man. How would you feel if it was, you know, it comes out, all these whistleblowers coming out, you know, saying that it's been a secret because it's really disheartening. The truth is really not going to leave us feeling good about it. Like we're gonna be like, this is bullshit kind of a deal. Like,
what do you mean? As when the disclosure comes out?
when disclosures come out, because there's a lot of people that are like either some of the things are like we're just meat bags basically for whatever, and they feed off of our energy or something like that, or we're here to build shit for them, like collect gold, for instance, let's say. But it's like a meaning. We think there's so much more meaning to our existence, but a lot of the whistleblowers are like, it's not that serious. We're kind of an experiment type of deal.
So to me, I don't know if that really changes anything for me in particular, because ultimately we now know that we are. So feed me information now. What'd you guys do? What'd you tweak? What happened here? If all right, so wait, are you farming us? You know what I mean? Is there like just hit us with the gist of it now? Like, what's going on here? You know what I mean? Is there prison colonies on Mars where you're just working people to death? Like, are you snatching up all the missing kids every year? Like,
is that you? Yeah. That's how I would be too. I may be on some. I don't know. I'd probably be like, yeah, I'd body a couple of you too, just off rip, because that's some bullshit. But I still want to know like the secrets of the universe and shit. Like what's really good.
Yeah, I definitely like. I feel like that just again opens the door for a better humanity, depending on where they're at, because if there's a race that's like a billion years more advanced than us, I just don't feel like war would be a thing to them.
No.
It's like, dude, if we really wanted to, we already could have fucking wiped your whole fucking universe out,
Yeah. That's what I say about the extraterrestrials too. Like, bro, we just grab an asteroid and toss it at your shit. Game over. You know what I mean? Like, it's not that serious. On that front.
Right. Yeah. And that's why I don't think it really changes much. I think it's still such a big deal that it dude, I'd be fucking pumped and scary. Like I said to you the other day, I'm like, this shit is getting scary and exciting.
You did. Yeah. With the Green Beret.
Yeah, exactly.
We were talking about him.
Yeah, why don't you fill everybody in?
All right, so that's Green Beret. Let me grab his name. You remember his name?
I honestly do not.
I grab it. Yeah, there's so much information coming out. So anyway, there was this Green Beret. He highly decorated, worked in secret undercover programs and skiffs and things like that. Said that he was at a military base doing a training, and they brought him deep underground and showed him. He walked into a secret lab that had off-world technology written on the door, and they brought him in, and he saw some off-world technology firsthand. One of the orbs, the silver orbs that have been around since we've been here, really. Them shits have been flying around. And some other tech that he saw that he couldn't really speak about, but he was really decorated, which is crazy. He said it was also anti-gravity there as well.
Yep. Yeah, he did. He said he saw, like, he broke down and said he saw a sphere on a podium about basketball shot sized. We have to see if we can find a clip on him, but
I got it.
Run it.
It's
So we got a real quick before you get started, Irv, my bad. We do have a comment from Crystal Sweet. If you utilize the Bible from a literary perspective as opposed to a literal reference or prediction tool, it makes the messages behind the stories easier to relate to or apply on a personal level. No doubt about it, for sure.
Totally agree with that.
All right, Irv, do your thing.
All right. This story took place in 2014. The Green Beret's name is Randy Anderson.
The first object was a metallic basketball-sized sphere, and it was above a podium, and it looked like it was just levitating above the podium.
Levitating
Yeah.
above the podium.
Mhm.
So there was space between the sphere
Yes.
and the podium itself.
Correct. And I remember at one point, like, trying to angle myself, like, how is that?
Do you think it could have been some sort of magnetic
Maybe.
levitation? Okay.
Maybe. Yeah.
But it's just levitating there.
It was just levitating
Did it
above it.
look like a prosaic, like this wood table where if you were to, touch it, it would act like a normal object? Did it look holographic? What did it look like?
So okay, that's a good question. What stood out to me was the way the metal looked. It looked unnatural. And I heard about this, and he kind of dug in on this. I mean, I'm like, dude, I don't know how to describe it. All I can tell you is it didn't look natural. It didn't look like anything I could compare it to.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So look, it almost looked like off-world.
It fit the bill.
Yeah.
And then also there was and this could have been anxiety or anything else, but the energy in the room, man, was just different.
What was the feeling you got looking at this thing?
Just an unease, uneasy, uncomfortable, ominous. That's the best way I can describe it.
Did it feel powerful or conscious, or did it feel like this inanimate object? Or
it didn't feel inanimate. It didn't feel conscious. It just felt like this was significant.
So yeah. So this is another Green Beret. Now, the Green Berets have been in the news lately because of Matthew Livelsberger, who was the cat that exploded the Cybertruck out in front of Trump's Vegas hotel. And but this dude is another Green Beret that is saying that he provided receipts. He had a bunch of certificates, and I'm not exact. I can't remember what the name of the form was. It was like a DD-14 or some shit like that. But it's like a form that lists all of your experience in the military, and basically he's saying that he was in fact involved with these things. He saw this awful, and it's kind of cliche, really, because who imagines you going into a facility and there's a sign on the door that says off-world technology? Like, that just seems to me like kind of like, I don't know, weird in a sense.
It is. It really is. He's a weapons specialist too. Like he can operate any weapon there is. Like he
Foreign
actually
or domestic, right?
Yeah, he trains, other military people on weapons. So they showed him some weapons, and it's like he felt uneasy because he's like, why are they bringing me here? Like, why are they letting me see this? You know what I mean? Like they were looking at him, like, see his reaction. But this is a Green Beret who's been on multiple tours, has done some badass shit, and it made him feel uneasy. He just didn't feel. He didn't feel right.
Well, yeah, of course, because when you're looking at it, it's like as the story goes, and everybody would have to go and watch the episode. It's super interesting. But as the story goes, was that they were all there training, I believe, and only a few of them got selected. Like the top of the classes got selected to go take this walk into this different technology. But It's interesting because it's another Green Beret. This isn't another cat. And Irv and I were talking about this before we went live about how there are some skeptics out there. There are some people that are shitting on this dude. But again, you're talking about another high level military cat. If there's anybody we're supposed to trust, it's these dudes that are coming forward. Because they do have a lot to risk. They're putting their whole career on the line. These agencies will whack people out. They'll unalive you quick. But there was also another cat he mentioned too that came out. I can't remember his name. It was Herb something maybe. I can't. Michael Herb. I don't even know. But this is another cat coming forward. So and Irv, you were telling me that there was supposed to be 15 more coming forward this weekend or something like that.
Yeah, this weekend. Everybody's these guys are all these military guys in these secret programs are tired of the games, and all these whistleblowers are coming out, and they're all first-hand observers. They've actually worked in the programs. They've seen crafts. They've seen reverse engineer technology. So it's been a lot of the whistleblowers who came out, like Grush, for instance. He's only talked to guys like this. He never actually. He said he saw some stuff, but he's not allowed to talk about it. But these guys have first-hand knowledge. And an Air Force pilot came out. It's coming out on Saturday. I got a clip of his interview on what he saw flying his helicopter, and he's also worked in the program.
Oh no shit. Yeah, let's see that. That's it's kind of incredible how so many people are coming out now. Since they're
pilot,
no cold.
I operate with.
My bad.
No, do your thing. Run that thing.
Yeah.
He's got more important shit to say.
Well, I was a helicopter pilot, and I operate with 150 foot to 200 foot long line. So I got within 150 feet of this object.
What did you see?
I saw an egg, a white egg.
Was there any visible propulsion system on it?
No, not what we would know. There's no engine. There was no thermal signature. I was operating at night when I finally came in to pick it up. So I'm working under night vision goggles at the time. And it was quite clear. I flipped them up, flipped them down, and looked at it a couple of different ways.
How did you know that egg-shaped object was non-human in origin?
Well, visually, after seeing all kinds of things in my past, it was clearly something that was ridiculously looking. It's inconsistent with anything I'd ever seen before.
All right, so this is another dude that is coming forward saying that he was flying a helicopter and he was retrieving this object, right? I believe it was.
Yes.
Now, for everybody watching with us, speaking of which, we haven't shouted you guys out yet. We got 29 on X, 3 on YouTube, 1 on Facebook, 1 on Twitch. See if we got anything over on Instagram. We don't have anyone on Instagram right now. And I can't see what we got for Rumble, but shout out to everybody that's with us tonight. Yeah, so this is another cat that's coming forward saying that he retrieved an object. Now, the egg-shaped, white egg shape is kind of convenient as well because the Commander Fravor incident, the Nimitz incident, to where these pilots, David Fravor and I can't remember the other pilot, but had engaged a white Tic Tac UFO. Tic Tac egg, that's kind of close, you know what I mean?
Close. Yeah, that's really close. I mean, this guy is one of our country's top pilots, helicopter, fighter jets, all this stuff. And it really fucks with their head. Like, how can this be? How is this thing up here? There's no wings. no propulsion systems. It's hanging out. It's levitating. It outmaneuvers my high tech equipment. Like, to hold that in for all these years and be afraid to talk about it or not able to talk about it because you be, penalized for it. So a lot of these guys have been living with this, and the phenomenon really messes with your head. Like,
Sure. Well, you start to question your own self, because it's like having a paranormal experience or seeing a UFO. It's like you're like, no, stop it. I didn't just you're fucking bugged out. Like, for years and years and years, bro. I like, as interested as I was in seeing a UFO, dude, I never saw one until I saw one in New Jersey 2 years ago. And it was like, it was wild, man, because even then I'm still trying to more explain it away than be like, yeah, that was weird as fuck, but yeah, you question yourself, and like someone like that with those type of credentials, like, you have to be an expert in aviation. You have to be an expert in the systems, the flight patterns, the winds, you know what I mean? And this thing is just zipping around everywhere. Fuck it. Let's go here. Let's go there.
Okay.
And then it's gone, and then it's back, and it's gone. Oh, it shoots out the tape.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, it's gonna go in the water real quick.
Yeah, they were saying too, like the submarines that see them under the water, they're like, we're in this tin can and shit's flying past us, a nuclear sub underwater, like 10 times the size of us, going 10 times faster. Like, they're scared. They're sitting ducks. You know what I mean? Like, imagine those crews that have witnessed those. Like, your sonar's going crazy. You got this object approaching fast, and you're just like, everybody on a sub sees it, but you can't talk to anybody but the people on the ship. Like get me off the ship, bro. I'll be like, yo, get me off the ship.
A certain interesting thing that dude, that Green Beret, had said in the interview was that, like, they were at a testing range on Area 51, and they saw a green orb go across the sky, like a big giant green ball just fly across the sky. And he said to his superior, like, yeah, I think I'm pretty sure I just saw that, and he was like, are you sure you saw that? Because if you really did see it, then we got to do a shit ton of paperwork. And so it was like almost common knowledge amongst all of these military people. Just like, look, man, we're not going to talk about it.
No,
we're not going to talk about it. You could talk about it, but we're not going to talk about it officially.
Yeah. Nah, you want to visit from the Men in Black, bro? Like grilling you at home? Like, oh, what's going on? Like, what did you see? Like, are you doing drugs? Are you like, you know what I mean? Like, nah, let's not talk about it. That's why this weekend's gonna be pretty dope. It's just moving us closer to the truth. Like, at this point, I don't care what the truth is. I just want to hear it, and get this over with. And hopefully, like you mentioned in a couple episodes ago, let's get this 0 point energy out and make life better for all citizens of Earth.
All right. Yeah. I think, I honestly feel like that's kind of what we're like headed for, because at this point, man, again, it's like certain technology, like what the people have to understand out there, for anybody listening, we outnumber the actual government thousands to one, like in terms of your politicians or your fucking president or whoever it is. It's like, we really should have control of this bitch. Like, we should really be able to live in a utopia. Think about it. If everybody had everything they needed, drug addiction would go down, homelessness is eradicated, fucking drug violence, drugs in general, you know what I mean? Like a lot of these things would not necessarily disappear, but everybody could have everything that they wanted. What do you need to be down that rabbit hole for? So, but again, greed is the reason why we can't have these things. And then they want to ban, like, what was it? Didn't they put a ban on the gas powered cars too? And they're like a timeline on that shit. Like you gotta like people gotta switch over.
In California, in New York, you any new structures, they ban gas. So like houses and stuff, they have to be electric stoves, like no more gas.
Which is bananas.
And gas is the cleanest fuel we have at the moment. I mean, solar and wind just don't produce enough, but
well, wind is fucking terribly not efficient. You know, like half of those things break down, bro, and then they're just laying there rusting away, and then they're a giant eyesore. It's just not, they're just not great ways. Solar farms are great, but at the same time, it's like, again, we got to get cleaner, but why get rid of gas? Like, are we running out of gas like that? You know, we run out of all the gas in the earth.
Yeah.
Weird, greedy fucks. Yeah. Weird.
Yeah, no more gas, all electric. Yeah, so there's a lot of layers to it, but it's time to forge that new world, and I think it can happen without the bullets flying. If enough people wake up, like you said, we have the numbers.
Yeah, we really do. And it's like, I'm going to be careful what I say so I don't get this fucking banned, but it's high time for people to take a stand and really just be like, yo, let's make a move. Like everybody's got to come together. That's why they get us divided, because they don't want us fucking thinking together. Like, yo, wait, what? You just passed what bill?
Yeah.
You just did what? Like, how much money did you spend last year on fucking toilets? You know what I mean? There's just like so many different things that they try to avoid, which is interesting about Doge, and we'll see how that goes in terms of shit like that. But I think
Inauguration's coming.
I know it's coming up quick. What do you guys think?
It's come.
It really has, dude. It's coming quick. Like, it's funny because it feels like the election and all the drama surrounding it was like, I don't know. It happened so fast. Like the shit is like, it happened so quickly. Like from being like them catching the nominations and shit to Kamala heisting one. To Barack Obama and fucking Trump laughing it up, yucking it up, dude, at Jimmy Carter's funeral. And that's another thing. We didn't even cover fucking Jimmy Carter's death. Like, that old reptilian bastard finally died.
It was a nice man. He had a UFO experience too.
Yeah, there was a story too, but I can't remember. He was big into the UFOs, homeboy, like Jimmy Carter was.
They said he cried like a baby too once he got some information on it. Couldn't sleep at night.
Well, again, is it that crazy? It's got to be that bananas. Like, it has to be the idea of reality or the extraterrestrials, whatever's going on. The idea of it has to be that bananas that even Trump was like, all right, if you saw what I saw, you wouldn't release it either.
So he said, well, I guess if the drones aren't, I don't know, but I'm starting to believe the drones are some UAP, or some high tech. They're definitely high tech. There's been some nice radar data stuff. But next Wednesday we should have information on the drones, but they're all over the world still.
The drones, right?
Yeah, but Trump did say he's gonna tell us on Wednesday of next week
What they are.
what they are.
Well, no shit, because what was it? Germany just authorized their jets to fire on them.
Light them up.
So I guess we're gonna find out. I also did see, I don't know how real it is, but I did see an article that allegedly some Chinese drone company turned off their geofencing for the US and Canada.
I did hear that.
So for anybody that doesn't know, but geofencing is basically the trackers that tell them, like, that basically restricts, airspace. So if it's restricted airspace, their transponders won't even let them go that way, or whatever the case may be. But allegedly China had turned off a bunch of drones as geofencing. Allegedly. Like I said, I only saw one article about it.
It's always so hard on information from China because they don't really release shit. They're not like there's no news story from a government official like, yes, we did that.
The CCP.
Nah, it's always what our government tells us they did.
Right. Well, that's why I have a hard time a lot of the times with like just government information in general. Because again, the thought struck me earlier. I was like, it'd be really interesting to be in another country and like seeing what their history books say, seeing what their media says, seeing, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Because for us, again, it's all government propaganda. China, boogeyman. Russia, boogeyman. You see that, dude? There was a fucking Iran's president just did an interview, and basically,
that's it.
No way, shut up. This is like I didn't get to check out the entire interview. I only saw a clip of it, but he did an interview and essentially said like they were asking him if he wanted to like have dialogue with the U.S. and he's like, no, it's not about dialogue. We did that already. We held up all of our agreements and the U.S. folded. So like but again, there's another interview of him just explaining that Iran wants to just be a normal part of the world and they won't allow it.
Yeah. We don't have no beef with nobody. Like, all Persian, Iranian people that I know, chill, bro.
Dude, everybody chill.
Yeah. Like
everybody's fucking chill.
It's just beef with.
Stop telling us who to hate, bro.
Yeah, man. Like hate that person. That's with the TikTok ban coming up Sunday. Like millions of TikTokers flock to the Chinese version of TikTok, and they're like, wait a minute, this isn't like they told us. Like all these young people are realizing like, nah, the Chinese young people are just having fun like we are. They're chilling. No. They want to go out. They want to have drinks. They're making cat videos. They're doing everything we're doing. Like they're not like, oh fuck America, like or anything like that.
No, but this is that geopolitical bullshit.
Yeah, and so a whole generation of young people that are going over to Red Note, are finding out like that this shit ain't what the government's been telling us our entire life about this country.
Yeah. Well, again, but we have to plant that seed to get that backing, so like everything's got to be, what was it? China just hacked into the U.S. Treasury.
Yes.
Or people that were working for China hacked into the U.S. Treasury. Like what's odd to me, and I guess nowadays it's even more odd, is that this is what we're doing. Like this is the human nature in fucking 2024, bro. In the golden age of information, we're still doing this weirdo spy shit. We're still stoking fires around the world. We're still arming everyone and then just putting them in a bowl and say, go ahead. This is what we're doing as human beings.
Yeah, we're really doing that, and it's got to end. Like in this, so with TikTok closing, the young kids are looking for that alternative because they're like, this is bullshit. Like, who are you guys to take away our right on a platform? And a lot of people are making money on TikTok too. So
Tons
they're
of bread, bro.
they're
Tons.
taking money away from like
Tons of bread.
Jordan Crowder, bro. He does numbers on TikTok, and that income that he's making on TikTok is going away. Like, so it's not just the social part of it, but the cool thing is that a bunch of young people are waking up, and the young people in China are welcoming, bro. They're like, see, we're not saying go back to your country, like,
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean? We don't.
Well, again, in this day and age, man, in the age of information, right? Like the golden age of information, we're only getting better. But at the same time, even those people, the people in Russia, the people in Iran, the people in fucking, Afghanistan, the Middle East, there's like all of these people that are normal human beings that just want to live out a normal human being experience. And the powers that be, the governments, are literally so ego driven that it's like, yo, we gotta, oh wait, Haiti's fucking full of resources. Oh wait, yeah, gotta go pillage that. Fucking, it's insane, man. You'd think we'd be a little more evolved by now. Instead, it's like, yo, it's just how evolved is our drone game.
We're just so filtered, man. And it's almost like we're sheltered children. You know what I mean? Like, you never got to go, to your cousin house in the suburbs or to your cousins in the hood. You know what I mean? Like, you go there, you're like, oh shit, like, I just ride my bike. You know what I mean? Like, shit's crazy over here. It's fights, gunshots, whatever. Like, it's similar to that, man. Being sheltered, our government sheltered us with,
yeah. Oh yeah,
information.
We're treated as children. Like we are quite literally the peasants, or like the redheaded stepchild of the world, in a sense, because when they look down on us, it's like, like they get that absolute power corrupts absolutely, so it's like you almost get like your constituents are more like your fucking little dozers, in a sense, yeah, I feel the same way, man.
Yo, this shit, one of the red note memes they be sharing in China and shit. Shit had me dying.
Oh, stop it. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, the samurai. I love it.
We don't get to see shit like that, bro. Like, yo, that's dope.
Yeah, well, but again, because this is the type of shit that they algorithm out. It's like nobody else can have, like, nobody can make fun of America. Like, come on, dude. That's
totally
hilarious,
funny, bro. That's funny. That's not
that's
offensive
great.
or nothing. Yeah, but the young Chinese kids are like, "Hi," you know what I mean? Like,
I'm your
which
daddy.
that shit just had me dying, bro. I was like, come on, you cats
Yeah.
are wow.
Yeah, it's tough because even for them, man, even the CCP is like they put their certain clamps down on all their people as well. And the smog over there is fucking crazy. They have the highest density population, I think, other than India.
Yeah. India's coming up on them fast.
For tech, right?
Yeah, and population.
I thought India had them.
They might.
I can't remember. Me, I know it's 1 and 2. I know like they both. It's like China and India have like the highest populations.
So, what do you got? What do you got going into the weekend? You told me about the Joe Biden stuff. What do you think these next couple of days are going to be like?
Oh, it's hard to tell, to be honest, because like and we had planned on running the interview, or not the interview, the farewell speech from President Joe Biden, because I felt like it did kind of stoke some fires on his way out, and just like, I don't know, wasn't super supportive of the incoming administration. And no matter what, even if you don't like them, you kind of gotta, it's the respect for the office. So, but it's hard to tell, because I almost feel like there's going to be, it almost feels like impending doom at this point. I don't want to say for Trump being inaugurated, but I feel like there's something that might happen just prior to or during the election. Excuse me. And hopefully I'm wrong. But that's what it feels like, man. It feels like they've been trying to get him and trying to get him and trying to get him. And we'll see.
James O'Keefe did an undercover. He got someone, a Fed was plotting against Trump with some generals.
No way. Like some coup shit.
Yeah, the dude got fired, but he was working with, and he was talking about it. James O'Keefe did the undercover interview. If you guys want to go find it, on some real cool shit. And people were saying like that could have saved him or prevented something from happening, because it was some real deep state shit, real active.
Well, let's look at the one shooting in Pennsylvania. The whole situation doesn't even add up. And then I'm pretty sure still there was no official news release or press conference from the Secret Service about that. And that kid was allowed to fly a drone over that area. He was walking around with a fucking rangefinder. Like, there was just like, so like, his apartment was professionally scrubbed before the cops got there. Not only that, they tapped his cell phone, and somebody was coming from an FBI headquarters and visiting this dude like once a month. And they could tell because it would, like, the phones would link up or whatever, you know, blah, 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 towers and shit. It's all easily accessible information. But it goes to show you that this might have been an inside job. Everybody's covering. Even the House subcommittee shit, you know what I mean, was like, there weren't really any answers. Nobody had nothing. You know, again, this kid was planted. No online footprint at all, bro. Zero. MK Ultra, bro.
It's real.
If you don't think that shit only got better since they were doing that shit in the 60s and 70s, you're bugged the fuck out. That MK Ultra shit or the mind control is way better now. So they might even have like clones. Imagine having fucking clones, bro. And being like, yo, this is your primary mission. Or, you know, you just download them. Here you go. Send them out.
Yeah, it's gonna get crazier and crazier because the tech's getting.
Or they're in BlackRock commercials.
Or hanging out at the same military bases. Yeah,
Yeah, it's just oddly convenient.
just regular Tuesday shit.
But that goes to show you if this dude caught a general, and you said they were retired generals,
Retired generals, yeah.
which means they still hold weight. They're in somebody's ear, like, yo, this is the end of the world. We have to take it, like the current generals, you know.
Yeah,
Imagine
not a good look. Oh yeah, okay, all right. I'm gonna just pull this up, but
for real quick, we just reached a milestone on YouTube, and shout out to everybody that's checking us out. If you're with us tonight, make sure you run over to all of our socials. They're going down across the bottom right now. Like and subscribe. But we just got it was 4 minutes ago. This is a notification from YouTube Studio, and it says people are getting hooked on your channel. Congrats on reaching 2,000 hours of watch time. Let's go.
let's go.
Shout out to you guys out there. That's you people helping us out. We fuck with you. We love you. But yeah, so and you said you're gonna pull that up, or
Yeah, I'll probably just let's see. Yeah, it's a long joint, so I'm gonna just pull up a screenshot with his name and whatnot. Maybe we could jump into it sometime. But this is the gentleman and he actually had one of his girls go undercover this time, young girl. And this guy was comfortable speaking with her. Actually, he's advisor, Joint Staff, Department of Defense, former Special Agent, FBI, former Special Assistant, Hillary Clinton. Putting in plans in the works to stop Trump.
this guy
He lost his job today.
Oh,
That's how serious.
well, he's lucky he wasn't getting charged with treason.
They're talking about it. They said treason gets thrown around a lot, but if there ever was an instance of it, this is it.
Yeah, again, that's a big deal. You're plotting to remove the president in any way is against the law. I mean, I guess unless you're impeaching them, you know.
With retired generals. So
yeah, that's a coup, dude.
Yeah, 4-star generals. He's like saying too, like in this thing. But you see, Hillary Clinton's down there too, at some point in his career. So the plot thickens.
Yeah, well, again, the deep state really does exist. For anybody that doesn't think it isn't there, it's not what you think it is. It's these people. It's these people that are sitting behind the scenes, the 4-star generals, the pompous old fucks that were like doing this shit before, that are still got a grip on Washington or politicians or generals or anything like that. That's the deep state, you know, and these are the people that are backdooring and plotting and doing everything that they shouldn't be doing. Yeah, I never heard of that guy, but yeah, it'd be wild if they charged him with treason.
Yeah, it's basically a plot, man. I mean, they're seriously plotting. Like, he must be stopped. Yeah, and he's a bureaucrat as well, and that's what they're talking about. He wasn't voted for.
There. Yeah.
He'll be there when the next president's there. Well, like he worked for Hillary Clinton. Like these are the people, really entrenched with deep state. They outlast all presidents, senators usually. Like they're there for 30 years. They're working in the FBI. Now you're in the Department of Defense, and then you maybe did a stint in the CIA. So like you know what I mean? And then he leaves that position, and then a company like Pepsi hires him for head of security, or Goldman Sachs, or like. And now it's just
or you're a private contractor, right?
Yeah, it's a whole web of nonsense. But these individuals plot and look for their own parachutes, man, and do what they want. And that's the problem. Like why government doesn't work, because a lot of people like this that aren't voted for ever.
Well, and not only that, but they're fallible. So if you were honorable and going by the Constitution and everything else, this is the problem with politics: is it's so shady and so backdoor. They really do these like weirdo little proxy wars inside of Congress and the House and all of these, the deep state, in a sense, the bureaucrats, like the people that never got voted. They're just sucking up money. These are the people that Doger's supposed to be going after. Really, this fucking guy.
Yes.
What are you? You're still collecting a payroll? Like you're on payroll right now? What are you
still
even doing
that?
But again, to have that kind of power to go back and say, "Yo, we got to do something about the president."
That the people voted for.
That's pretty crazy.
It is crazy.
And to actually have it happening, but people get in their emotions. People have some sort of psychosis sometimes where it's like, all right, they just get super radicalized and we got to get out of it. We got to get them out of there. We got to get them out of there.
Yeah, but he just met this chick too, to just feel like I could just wing this shit out there, like whatever. Like this is what I do.
Like
he just sat down, like they set up a dinner date with him, like whatever, and he just let it fly, man.
Wow.
It's like you're not trying to set me up, are you? Like nah.
At that point, you gotta feel like homie might have wanted to get set up.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why these guys do that, but
it doesn't make sense. You're getting caught, dude. In the age of hidden cameras, like you're about to be viral.
Yeah,
you're about to be a come up for somebody.
He lost that cushy job though today. That's probably just the start.
Sure.
Oh, on another note too, bro. They need to arrest those correctional officers, bro. They still arrest those cats. Nah, the New York correctional officers. I just wanted to get that out there too. Like,
what's the latest on it? I haven't seen it. They've buried the shit out of it because I haven't seen it since the video, and then subsequently after, like maybe an article or two.
No, still no arrests. Still on leave.
Wild. After Hochul said they'd be held accountable.
Yeah, I just can't believe it, bro. Like,
no, it's unacceptable. There's no
two-tier system.
There's no situation that is acceptable.
No,
not but this really happens to people in prison and people of color mostly, because as you can see, a bunch of white fucking COs beat this shit out of an African American dude, and his hands are behind his back and he is just getting beat. Like, that's crazy. That's absurd. And New York's got to do better. And I've been calling for prison reform for a long time. Like, you know.
Mm-hmm. No, it needs to happen. They're closing a lot of them. They've been closing them left and right.
Speaking of which, they closed fucking Gitmo too. But yeah, like
what people are still there.
They released a bunch of terrorists. Allegedly, Biden released
recently. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they let a bunch of them go. But yeah, man, so we got some crazy shit coming up.
Yeah, we really do. I guess if you want, we can run Joe Biden's farewell speech here on the way out of this episode, and just see real quick. This was, I don't know if anybody caught it, but I guess it went live around 8 p.m. But how long was it, Irv? Like 10 minutes, 15 minutes?
It's about 17 minutes, but we could run it.
Oh, look at your boy Adam. What up?
Adam, what's good, man? What's good? Adam stepping up to the stage.
Let's see here. So we got 37 on X, 2 on YouTube, 2 on Facebook, 1 on Twitch, and we got 1 on Instagram. And I can't see Rumble, so shout out to those on Rumble too.
We got 3 on Rumble.
Sick. Yeah, so as everybody knows, President Joe Biden is on his way out, and this was his farewell speech to Americans. Let's see how it goes.
To you tonight from the Oval Office. Before I begin, let me speak to important news from earlier today. After 8 months of nonstop negotiation, by my administration, a ceasefire and a hostage deal has been reached by Israel and Hamas. The elements of which I laid out in great detail in May of this year. This plan was developed and negotiated by my team and will be largely implemented by the incoming administration. That's why I told my team to keep the incoming administration fully informed, because that's how it should be, working together as Americans. This will be my final address to you from the American people from the Oval Office, from this desk as president. And I've been thinking a lot about who we are and maybe more importantly, who we should be.
I wonder what they juiced this dude up with.
In New York Harbor, an iron worker installed beam after beam, day after day. He was joined by steel workers, stonemasons, engineers. They built not just a single structure, but a beacon of freedom. The very idea of America was so big, we felt the entire world needed to see. The Statue of Liberty, a gift from France after our Civil War. Like the very idea of America, it was built not by one person, but by many people from every background and from around the world. Like America, the Statue of Liberty is not standing still. Her foot literally steps forward atop a broken chain of human bondage. She's on the march. She literally moves. She was built to sway back and forth to withstand the fury of stormy weather, to stand the test of time because storms are always coming. She sways a few inches, but she never falls into the current below. An engineering marvel. The Statue of Liberty is also an enduring symbol of the soul of our nation. A soul shaped by forces that bring us together and by forces that pull us apart. And yet through good times and tough times, we've withstood it all. A nation of pioneers and explorers, of dreamers and doers, of ancestors native to this land, of ancestors who came by force, the nation of immigrants came to build a better life, a nation holding the torch of the most powerful idea ever in the history of the world.
Got the good shit.
That all of us are created equal. That all of us deserve to be treated with dignity, justice, and fairness. That democracy must defend and be defined and be imposed, moved in every way possible. Our rights, our freedoms, our dreams. But we know the idea of America, our institution, our people, our values that uphold it are constantly being tested. Ongoing debates about power and the exercise of power. But whether we lead by the example of our power or the power of our example, whether we show the courage to stand up to the abuse of power or we yield to it. After 50 years at the center of all of this, I know that believing in the idea of America means respecting the institutions that govern a free society, the presidency, the Congress, the courts, a free and independent press, institutions that are rooted, they just might not reflect the timeless words, but they echo the words of the Declaration of Independence. We hold these truths to be self-evident. Rooted in the timeless words of the Constitution, we the people. Our system of separation of powers, checks and balances. It may not be perfect, but it's maintained our democracy for nearly 250 years, longer than any other nation in history that's ever tried such a bold experiment. In the past 4 years, our democracy is held strong. And every day I've kept my commitment to be president for all Americans through one of the toughest periods in our nation's history. I've had a great partner in Vice President Kamala Harris. It's been the honor of my life to see the resilience of essential workers getting us through a once-in-a-century pandemic, the heroism of service members and first responders keeping us safe, the determination of advocates standing up for our rights and our freedoms instead of losing their jobs to an economic crisis that we inherited. Millions of Americans now have the dignity of work. Millions of entrepreneurs and companies creating new businesses and industries, hiring American workers, using American products. And together, we've launched a new era of American possibilities. One of the greatest modernizations of infrastructure in our entire history, from new roads, bridges, clean water, affordable high-speed internet for every American. We invented the semiconductor, smaller than the tip of my little finger, and now is bringing those chip factories and those jobs back to America where they belong, creating thousands of jobs. Finally, giving Medicare the power to negotiate lower prescription drug prices for millions of seniors. And finally, doing something to protect our children and our families by passing the most significant gun safety law in 30 years and bringing violent crime to a 50-year low, meeting our sacred obligation to over 1 million veterans so far who are exposed to toxic materials, and to their families, providing medical care and education benefits and more for their families. You know,
Toxic,
it will take time to feel the full impact of all we've done together. But the seeds are planted, and they'll grow and they'll bloom for decades to come. At home, we've created nearly 17 million new jobs, more than any other single administration, a single term. More people have health care than ever before. And overseas, we've strengthened NATO. Ukraine is still free. And we've pulled ahead of our competition with China, and so much more. I'm so proud of how much we've accomplished together for the American people. And I wish the incoming administration success, because I want America to succeed. That's why I've held my duty to ensure a peaceful and orderly transition of power, to ensure we lead by the power of our example. I have no doubt that America is in a position to continue to succeed. That's why my farewell address tonight I want to warn the country of some things that give me great concern.
Here we go.
This is a dangerous concentration, and that's a dangerous concentration of power in the hands of a very few ultra-wealthy people. The dangerous consequences if their
You're
abuse of power is left unchecked. Today, an oligarchy is taking shape in America of extreme wealth, power, and influence that literally threatens our entire democracy, our basic rights and freedoms, and a fair shot for everyone to get ahead. We see the consequences all across America, and we've seen it before. More than a century ago, but the American people stood up to the robber barons back then and busted the trusts. They didn't punish the wealthy, just made the wealthy play by the rules everybody else had to. Workers want rights to earn their fair share. They were dealt into the deal, and it helped put us on a path to building the largest middle class, the most prosperous century any nation in the world has ever seen. We've got to do that again. In the last 4 years, that's exactly what we've done. People should be able to make as much as they can, but play by the same rules, pay their fair share of taxes. So much is at stake. Right now, the existential threat of climate change has never been clearer. Just look across the country, from California to North Carolina. That's why I signed the most significant climate and clean energy law ever in the history of the world. And the rest of the world is trying to model it now. It's working, creating jobs and industries of the future. Now, we've proven we don't have to choose between protecting the environment and growing the economy. We're doing both. But powerful forces want to wield their unchecked influence to eliminate the steps we've taken to tackle the climate crisis, to serve their own interest for power and profit. We must not be bullied into sacrificing the future of our children and our grandchildren. We must keep pushing forward and push faster. There's no time to waste. It's also clear that American leadership in technology is an unparalleled source of innovation that can transform lives. We see the same dangers of the concentration of technology, power, and wealth. His farewell address, President Eisenhower spoke of the dangers of the military-industrial complex. He warned us then about, and I quote, the potential for the disastrous rise of misplaced power, end of quote. 6 decades later, I'm equally concerned about the potential rise of a tech-industrial complex that could pose real dangers for our country as well. Americans are being buried under an avalanche of misinformation and disinformation, enabling the abuse of power. The free press is crumbling. Editors are disappearing. Social media is giving up on fact-checking. The truth is smothered by lies told for power and for profit. We must hold the social platforms accountable to protect our children, our families, and our very democracy from the abuse of power. Meanwhile, artificial intelligence is the most consequential technology of our time, perhaps of all time. Nothing offers more profound possibilities and risks for our economy and our security, our society, for humanity. Artificial intelligence even has the potential to help us answer my call to end cancer as we know it. But unless safeguards are in place, AI could spawn new threats to our rights, our way of life, to our privacy, how we work, and how we protect our nation. We must make sure AI is safe and trustworthy and good for all humankind. In the age of AI, it's more important than ever that the people must govern. And as the land of liberty, America, not China, must lead the world in the development of AI. In the years ahead, it's going to be up to the president, the presidency, the Congress, the courts, the free press, and the American people to confront these powerful forces. We must reform the tax code, not by giving the biggest tax cuts to billionaires, but by making them begin to pay their fair share. We need to get dark money. That's that hidden funding behind too many campaigns contributions. We need to get it out of our politics. We need to enact an 18-year term limit, time and term, for the strongest ethics reforms for our Supreme Court. We need to ban members of Congress from trading stock while they're in the Congress. We need to amend the Constitution to make clear that no president is immune from crimes that he or she commits while in office. The president's power is not limited. It's not absolute, and it shouldn't be. And in a democracy, there's another danger to the concentration of power and wealth. It erodes a sense of unity and common purpose. It causes distrust and division. Participating in our democracy becomes exhausting and even disillusioning. And people don't feel like they have a fair shot. We have to stay engaged in the process. I know it's frustrating. A fair shot is what makes America, America. Everyone's entitled to a fair shot, not a guarantee, but just a fair shot, an even playing field, going as far as your hard work and talent can take you. We can never lose that essential truth, remain who we are. I've always believed, and I've told other world leaders, America can be defined by one word: possibilities. Only in America do we believe anything is possible. Like a kid with a stutter from modest beginnings in Scranton, Pennsylvania, and Claremont, Delaware, sitting behind this desk in the Oval Office as President of the United States. That's the magic of America. It's all around us. Upstairs in the residence of the White House, I've walked by a painting of the Statue of Liberty I don't know how many times. In the painting, there's several workers climbing on the outstretched arm of the statue that holds the torch. It reminds me every day I pass it of the story and soul of our nation and the power of the American people. There's a story of a veteran. This is a veteran, the son of an immigrant, whose job was to climb that torch and polish the amber panes so rays of light could reach out as far as possible. He was known as the keeper of the flame. He once said of the Statue of Liberty, quote, speaks a silent universal language, one of hope that anyone who seeks and speaks freedom can understand. Yes, we sway back and forth to withstand the fury of the storm, to stand the test of time. A constant struggle, a short distance between peril and possibility. But what I believe is the America of our dreams is always closer than we think. It's up to us to make our dreams come true. Let me close by stating my gratitude to so many people, to the members of my administration, as well as public service and first responders across the country and around the world. Thank you for stepping up to serve. To our service members and your families, it's been the highest honor of my life to lead you as Commander-in-Chief. And of course, to Kamala and our incredible partner, the historic Vice President. She and Doug have become like family. And to me, family's everything. My deepest appreciation to our amazing First Lady who's with me in the Oval today. For our entire family.
We're losing them.
You're the love of my life and the lives of my love. My eternal thanks to you, the American people. After 50 years of public service, I give you my word. I still believe in the idea for which this nation stands. A nation where the strength of our institutions and the character of our people matter and must endure. Now it's your turn to stand guard. May you all be the keeper of the flame. May you keep the faith. I love America. You love it too. God bless you all. May God protect our troops. Thank you for this great honor.
All righty, fucking then. So Lots of holes. You're muted, Irv. But lots of holes in that farewell speech, man.
I think he shit himself.
Something happened, dude. Did you see
I think
him
he shit
him
himself.
glitch?
He definitely shit himself.
Like he glitched or something, bro. You saw him he was like,
Yeah.
that was weird as shit, dude.
He got through it.
He made it. They almost lost him there a couple times, but they must have been over there they must have been like, Joe, hey Joe,
come on,
stay with me, Joe.
2 more minutes, bro. 2 more minutes, Joe.
Adam, you are right. You can't fix stupid. Unfortunately, the dude is super old, and it's like putting grandpa to bed at this point.
Yeah, come on, Grandpa. You gotta go to bed.
Okay, Grandpa. Yeah, we believe it. But a couple things real quick. I just want to touch on real fast was that the shit that he was already kind of setting up with this. He said that he had full trust in the new administration, but then literally cast mad doubt on all of it. And then the other thing was the president not having limitless power, and then the pardon for Hunter.
Yeah, nonsense.
And I think next episode we can get into a little bit more. But that was kind of crazy that he glitched and or shit himself. And that's it, man. It's the end of Joe Biden. That's it. Last time we'll see him publicly, other than inauguration, right? He'll probably be there.
He'll be there Tuesday. It's at 12 in the afternoon. We will be streaming as well. Come hang out with us. Inauguration starts at 12. I'm not sure when we will be on, but sometime before it kick off.
Yeah, maybe we'll jump on a little sooner and try to get a party going before it starts. But you got anything else for everyone, Irv?
Nah. Nope.
Sweet. Well, we appreciate everybody for tapping in with us once again. We had 39 on X, 3 on YouTube, 2 on Facebook, and 1 on Twitch right now. These are just our current numbers that's happening right now, but I know we're up on the likes for YouTube and Facebook as well. Rumble, shout out to Rumble, and Instagram as well. I haven't seen your numbers yet, but we appreciate you guys for tapping in. Adam, thanks for tapping in and leaving some comments. And
yes, sir.
We'll catch you guys next time. Hit that subscribe button. Peace.